Am I the a-hole for not wanting my stepkids at my wedding? Before anyone jumps to conclusions, I promise, I'm not some evil stepmother with a grudge against my stepkids. I love them dearly. I've put my whole heart into our relationship, and I'm not here to vent or villainize anyone. I'm just trying to get honest feedback on whether I'm in the wrong for wanting my wedding day to be just about us, my fiancé and me. I'm 28F, and my fiancé is 34M. We've been together for 4 years, and we're finally getting married next year. This will be my first marriage and his second. We've been planning a small, intimate wedding, more of an elopement really, with fewer than 30 guests. We've chosen a charming chapel in Las Vegas, the exact same one where my parents got married decades ago. There's something really special and full circle about that for me, and it's one of the reasons this wedding has felt so personal. He has 2 daughters, ages 10 and 8, from his first marriage. They live in another state, but we have them during summers, school breaks, and a yearly vacation. I'm child-free myself, but I have a genuinely great relationship with both girls. They call me Mama, my name, and have always been warm, curious, affectionate, and open with me. Their mom and stepdad are also wonderful people, truly. We've all built something peaceful and cooperative, which I'm really proud of. But here's the hard part. The girls are wonderful, yes, but they're also incredibly sheltered, and in some cases very high energy. The youngest especially can be very impulsive, and I don't mean in a neurodivergent way. Just typical kid behavior magnified by inexperience. For example, we took them to a theme park, and we had to tell the youngest at least 20 times not to run off from us. She's excited, easily distracted, and constantly needs redirection. These kinds of things might seem minor, but they cause me a lot of anxiety when we're traveling. I worry constantly about their safety, about making sure they're okay, about whether they're getting enough attention from their dad. And even more so when they're in unfamiliar places like airports, hotels, and tourist areas. I take on the bulk of the emotional labor when we travel with them, not because I'm asked to, but because that's who I am and I care. But it's exhausting. When we first got engaged, over 2 years ago, we agreed on a child-free wedding. That included not bringing the girls. It wasn't a cold or dismissive decision. It just felt right for us. We knew Vegas wasn't exactly a kid-friendly destination, especially not the weekend we planned. Drinks, casinos, nightlife, a big group of adults who just want to relax and celebrate without worrying about watching little ones. Even their mom, my fiancé's ex, told me, without hesitation, that not having them at the wedding would be the best decision. She didn't bring them to her second wedding either, and she described it as so much less stressful. She actually encouraged us to do the same, and I appreciated her honesty. I've already come up with a special idea just for them. A few months before the wedding, I want to do a private photo shoot where they can be the first to see me in my dress. I'll get them cute little dresses too, and we'll take family-style photos together, just them, me, and their dad. I think it would be really sweet and memorable, something just for the 5 of us. I want them to feel included in this new chapter of our lives. They don't seem upset about missing the wedding itself. They're just excited that we're getting married. They already call me Mama, and they've said how happy they are that it'll be official soon. So imagine my surprise when, out of nowhere, my fiancé brings up the idea of changing the venue to somewhere in our state so the girls can attend. Keep in mind, this isn't just a last-minute change. We've had non-refundable bookings, hotel blocks, and travel plans in place for months. We've already told our families, some of whom are traveling from out of state. Changing the location now would not only mean rearranging everything we've worked on, it would also mean completely altering the vibe we'd planned for the weekend. And more importantly, it would mean compromising on a space that holds real personal meaning to me. Of course, it's his wedding too. I get that. But for over 2 years, this wasn't an issue. He never pushed back on the child-free idea, not even once. It honestly feels like guilt might be creeping in, which I do understand. I know it's hard for him to think of a big life event happening without his daughters involved. But from my perspective, we had a plan. We discussed it, agreed to it, and built our vision around it. This might sound selfish, but I want to be completely transparent. I want this day to be about us, our relationship, our commitment, and our joy. I don't want to be worried about supervising kids, managing tantrums, wondering if they feel left out, or asking my guests to step in as babysitters. I've spent 4 years slowly, carefully, and lovingly building my role in their lives, always making sure I give them quality time with their dad, always going the extra mile to be supportive and sensitive. But this one day, I want it to be mine, too. I know people often criticize step-parents on Reddit, and maybe some of that criticism is fair. It's a tricky role. But I've given so much of myself in this relationship, and this wedding is one of the few things I've allowed myself to fully envision my way. I want the calm. I want the connection. I want to marry the love of my life in the same place my parents did. I want to raise a toast without worrying about little ears hearing the wrong thing. I want to dance without worrying who's watching the girls. I want this weekend to be just ours. I even offered a compromise. I told him we could do the legal ceremony during the photo shoot with the girls so that they could technically be part of it. But I didn't want to change the venue. I didn't want to change the plan. And honestly, I don't think that makes me a villain. He hasn't brought it up again since we talked, but I know it's still on his mind. I want to sit down with him and talk it through again, but first I wanted to get some outside perspectives. So, am I the a-hole for not wanting my stepkids at my wedding? TLDR, my fiancé and I planned a child-free destination wedding in Vegas. His two daughters, 8 and 10, whom I love deeply, weren't going to attend, and we both agreed on this 2 years ago. Now, he wants to change everything so they can come. I don't want to spend my wedding weekend stressed and responsible for young kids. I've offered them a special moment of their own before the wedding. Am I the a-hole for wanting our wedding day to be just about us?